Hi, it's Andy again, and welcome to this episode of on Fulmer Funny Farm. Today is Salsa Day, yay! So we're going to be preparing and making salsa, getting it all ready, and show you how to bottle it for the upcoming year. That way I don't have to share it with you. I can eat my own salsa, and you can eat yours. Well, maybe we could swap. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm out in my my garden, and as you can see, I don't have that many tomatoes out here. They're mostly green. I've got plenty of them coming, but they're not quite ready yet. So I had to go down to my local farmer's market, aka Stokes, and pick up some tomatoes and a few onions and a few other things. But I've got plenty of peppers, plenty of hot peppers. So I'll be back. I've got a little prep work to do, get everything ready to go, and then we'll show you how to make salsa. Hi, so I've got a little prep work done here, and basically what that entails, first of all, is we want to take the skins off the tomatoes, because who likes skins in their salsa? Well, I don't mind fresh salsa, but in our bottled salsa we want to take the skins off. So what we need to do is scald the tomatoes, and then we'll put them in our pot. So I've got, on my Camp Chef, I've got hot water boiling, and I'm using my canner right now, my water bath canner, using that to take the skins off. I also have a pot of cold water here on the side because I don't want to burn my hands when I take it off. So in there, in the cold water, and then I've got my big pot here that what we're going to do is throw the tomatoes in, and this is ultimately where we're going to cook all our salsa and let it simmer. So one other thing about the hot water I wanted to say is when you do, add a little vinegar to it. A couple tablespoons of vinegar. That way you won't get the hard water spots that you probably would get unless you're in a soft water area. So just a little tip for you. We'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my tomatoes started now. They're dunked in the hot water, and actually they've been coming to peel. So as the skins start splitting, then you want to pull them out, dunk them in your cold water, and then what I do, finish peeling them off. Some are easier than others. If you leave them a little bit longer than the one split, it'll actually come off really easy. This one's a little bit almost not quite ready, but it's ready enough, so we're going to still do it here. So peel the skins off. Oh, by the way, I'm not just dumping this on the floor. I have a bucket over here with a garbage bag in it, so you want to put your skins in there. Good composting material. So I'll pour it out, another piece of skin, and then what I do is in my big pot, it's a good opportunity, instead of just throwing them in there, cut them up a little bit and then throw them in. This will save a little bit of time later on. Then we'll look for another one. Let them come up, let them split. Some of them aren't quite ready to split yet, so we'll keep looking and get this taken care of. Now I have a mix. I didn't know you noticed, or if I told you. Well, we have a mix of tomatoes. Some are the big ones, and I actually have some Romas. Now the reason why I mix them is the Romas are a more saucy tomato, and they'll liquefy really well. The bigger tomatoes, again, the more chunky type tomatoes, will give you the volume that you want. So I do recommend mixing types of tomatoes. Even if they're small sweet cherry tomatoes, even if they are the pear tomatoes, the little ones, add a lot of those. Try a variety. I think you'll like it. Anyway, we'll finish our tomatoes up here, get them in the pot, and then next we're ready. We'll start putting our rest of our items in. No, Hello again. We're back with we're back on track. The idea now is with the tomatoes, now that you've got them, the skins off in the pot, we're going to bring them up to a boil. I actually did this the night before. So, and then after I had them all in the pot, I have a fridge that'll hold that big pot. Stuck them in the fridge overnight, and now next morning we're going to be putting the rest of our ingredients in and get them bottled. So today we have our onions and other items we're going to put in. But I want to tell you about the tomatoes real quickly. I put in 45 pounds of tomatoes, 25 pounds of Romas, and the other 20 was just the bigger tomatoes that I was showing you yesterday. With that 45 pounds of tomatoes, it only comes up to about here in our pot, so about half our pot. But that's going to be broken down. The fibers are breaking down in there. That's what we want. I like my salsa a little bit chunky. If you want to cut it up even more so, go right ahead, however you like it. This whole recipe is based on your personal taste. I like my salsa a little bit hotter, so I'll put a little more hot peppers in it. Also, there's a little citrus taste into it, and I've got some ingredients for that. So, for my recipe, I've got onions, and I've got a lot of onions. I also have garlic. And you can see here I bought a jar of garlic. I didn't buy the individual garlic. And the reason why is, number one, price. I'm a cheapskate. You've got to shop it. If you want the fresh garlic, if you grow fresh garlic, great. Use it however you like to do it. However, the price came out where this jar actually ended up being cheaper than me buying the amount of garlic I needed. Other items, too, that I bought pre-canned, and that was some green chilies. Green chilies are a lot more mild. They're not hot like peppers are. And I bought those in a can. Again, based on price. If you want to take your your Anaheim chilies, peppers, and roast them, great. That's just more work that you need to do. You could do this entire recipe just with canned items. But again, that's personal preference. Amount of time that you want to save. I also am adding some lime, and we have actually fresh lime left over from Megan's wedding that was frozen. Tana froze it, and we're going to squeeze some fresh lime into it, and that's going to give us a citrus taste. It's also going to put a little more citric acid into the tomatoes. Not that tomatoes need any more be more acidic than it already is. That's why we can bottle it the way we do in a water bath, because of the citric acid. I also have my peppers, of course. All my peppers come out of my garden. I haven't bought any peppers for the last 3 years. We always have a lot of peppers. Hot, mild, cherry peppers. I've got cayenne peppers. I even have these little itty bitty Thai peppers, extremely hot. And as some of you already know and have tried my salsa, I like my salsa actually a little more on the hot side. Not excruciatingly hot, but a little more on the hot side. And you can add it however you like. I also have cilantro, and we'll be putting some cilantro in there. I love cilantro. We grow some here at the farm, but we don't grow it in this quantity. It grows wild, and we enjoy it throughout the year. But when it comes to making salsa, we don't necessarily get this much. It ends up going to seed, and then we of course have coriander later on for all our other recipes. Of course, what we want to do also is we want to add some salt. Again, I love kosher salt. It breaks down really easy, and it just works out for us. So I'm going to chop some onions, some peppers, get everything in. Tomatoes are breaking down. We'll just throw that in as it goes, as we finish. Yeah, good morning. And we'll come back. It's a good idea to wear gloves, because if you want onion smell on your hands, it's up to you. Also, when we start cutting the peppers, it'll be pretty hot, and you gotta get those oils on your hands. So, 2 by 2 hands of blue. What you doing there, Taylor?
Fishing lemons.
What are they?
I mean, not lemons, limes.
Oh. I hope there's no lemons in here. Look at that.
That's the style.
I want to talk to you about peppers for a moment. Most of you, all of you, I'm sure have had experience with peppers, good or bad. Whether you like peppers or hot or mild, however you like it. I do recommend adding peppers to your salsa. You can put whatever you want in. Again, this salsa is whatever you want to put in it. I'm just showing you the basics. But I think peppers are important. And you can still add peppers whether you still like mild salsa or not. The green chilies that we add, they, I believe, are an important part of that. They're mild, and you can get them just about anywhere. Those are the Anaheim chilies. The poblano chili is also another mild chili that you can use as well. What I'm going to talk about, though, is actually a pepper. And the sweet pepper, which is the sweet cherry pepper, very, very good flavor. However, with the seeds as whole, it actually is kind of hot. With taking the seeds out, it actually is a little bit of heat in there, but it will mellow itself out as it sits in your salsa. So I do recommend, at least for more mild salsas, still add a pepper. You don't have to add the jalapenos; they're a little bit hotter, but add some pepper to it. I think you'll agree that it does taste and bring out the flavor to it. Some of you can't stomach, I know, the hotness of the peppers, but if you put just a few of the cherry peppers in there, I think you'll like the flavor. What we're going to do in ours, and what I've done is I've taken the seeds out, so that's important as well. So make sure you take the seeds out, especially if you don't want it hot. If you do want it hot, by all means, throw the whole thing in there, seeds and all. I have also cayenne peppers. These are a lot hotter. I have the jalapenos, which are hotter even still. And then I've got the Thai peppers, which I'm not going to put in my salsa just because how hot it is. We'll add that into other items. But you see I've got gloves. I told you before, when you're working, make sure you've got gloves on. If you're doing it free-handed, of course, don't touch your lips, don't touch your eyes, and especially don't touch your behind. Oh, one thing I want to talk about peppers as well, I forgot to tell you, is peppers actually dry really well. So if you have a dehydrator and you want to keep peppers over the year, throw them in the dehydrator and let them dry up. You can actually crush them with your hands, put them into chili or whatever other recipes that you have. So peppers, whether they're the cayennes that I have or the jalapenos, they dry really well.
Okay, this is a Thai eating contest.
This is a Thai pepper. Okay, now it's how we're going to do it.
Extremely hot.
Ready? One,
Okay.
2, 3. Oh my gosh.
Oh crap.
Oh!
Come on!
Oh, that burns. Oh!
Woo!
I'm gonna put this on YouTube.
Don't lick your lips. Oh my goodness.
Oh crap, don't swallow it!
Oh, don't swallow it. I feel burning going down.
Come on,
That's going
guys.
to be with us all day. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna win this.
Oh, you're going to do it again?
Yeah, I'm winning you.
Oh, you're going to do more?
Do it, Dad. Do it.
Okay, your win. If you're going to... Go ahead. If you want to. Oh my goodness.
No, that actually tastes pretty.
Oh!
Do it, Dad. Do
It's
it.
like extinguishing fire with lava.
Thomas wins because he had 2.
He did. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know, juice is going to work.
I'm putting this on YouTube, guys. Woohoo! Go.
Milk.
This is what happens after.
Worst mistake of my life.
You're the dingleberry, you did too.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've got everything in our salsa. My burning in my mouth has subsided a little bit, and so I can talk to you. So what we're going to do now, again, simmer everything for a few hours. You want to watch it. Stir it every 15, 20 minutes. Make sure everything gets mixed in really well. And taste it. Now, first and foremost, before you even bottle it, you want to taste it. You want to make sure it tastes good, that it's the way that you want. If you see something floating in here that you don't like, pick it out. Sometimes in a big pot like this, it will actually burn the bottom of it first and burn your tomatoes, so you'll get a few black specks. Don't be afraid about that. Just pick it out. And when you're filling your bottles, you'll be able to go through it a little bit more. This whole salsa recipe is based on, again, your taste, your preferences. This is what I like. Tana, she has a recipe that she likes, and we're going to make that and bottle that again this year. But I hope this has been helpful to you. We'll let this simmer down a little more, and we'll come back and we'll do the bottling procedures next time. So we're going to get cleaned up here, let this simmer for a while, and we'll come back. Okay, so we scooped up some salsa. We're going to go in and have a taste testing with it. Make sure it's cool first before you do, because you don't want to try hot salsa. You want it room temperature, the way you've cooked it, because that's what you're going to taste it once you hit the or open the bottle. So let's go in and taste. That's pretty good, but I can tell that it needs a little bit more salt than what I put in. The peppers aren't even hot, and I put a ton of garlic in here, so I can taste the garlic. And so I'm going to modify it just a little bit. I held back on some of my items, some of my ingredients, just for this very purpose. So you may want to add into it. Let's go see what Mom says here.
I'm studying. You can smell the garlic. Whoa. It's got a really good flavor to it, kind of smoky. A lot more salt needed.
Yeah.
But I love salt. There's a lot of garlic and it's not hot, so I love it.
Okay, so what we need to do then, we're going to go put a little more heat to it. More salt. And I think I'm going to throw in my other batch of cilantro. I only did one bunch of cilantro, but I think I'm going to put in the other batch into the bunch in as well for a little more flavor. So you can see that I'm putting in more of the cilantro in there. Taylor's got the mortar and pestle. Is that what? That's what it's called. But she's using my dried peppers that I had dried previously. These are still hot. So even though you dry them, you still have the seeds or the oils are still in it. So it's still hot. We're not going to add a lot of them, but it's mostly for flavor.
Is there Thai peppers in there?
There's not Thai peppers in there.
Okay.
So these are just, as you can see, they're the cayenne peppers. So really good. And we've also got the other sweet and the hot peppers. So we're going to add a few of these. The seeds are already inside. Again, we're not going to put in a lot, but we will put a few in there. All right, let's try this out again. Again, I did it hot. You should probably taste it while it's lukewarm, but I'm going to do it now. That's good. A little more salt. A little more hot peppers. I still don't taste the hotness of it. I may add just a little bit more, but let's go see what Mom says. If she's okay with it, then we'll start bottling. Alright, so we're ready to start getting our bottles ready to fill up. What we need to do first is sanitize our bottles. Now I've got a box of brand new bottles, and they're just the pint bottles, and we're going to end up filling them. Now, here's a trick that my dad had taught Tana about using bottles and cleaning them and getting them ready. And what they did is they actually took a cookie sheet and put water in the bottom of the cookie sheet, put the bottles in upside down, and stick them in the oven and cook them. Actually, we're going to end up sanitizing them. Now, you can do this also with the dishwasher. The kids haven't run the dishwasher, and so we're going to do it this way, so we don't have to wait for the dishwasher. But what will happen is the water will get sucked up into the bottles. You'll know the bottles are ready, and then you can take the bottles out. Now, when you take them out, you're going to put them on a clean dishcloth, put them upside down. That'll hold the heat in to them, but it'll also keep them, again, sanitized. We're going to get another pan, and we're going to put it with some boiling water on the stove, and we're going to do our rings and our lids as well. So I'm going to get that part started and get my bottles all ready, and then we'll come back and start filling them. Okay, so we're ready to bottle now that we've got all of our bottles ready and the salsa's done. And I've already filled one. And I just found something out that I did not know. Do you know what this little item is? I always thought it was a bottle opener, so you have your lid on to get your lids off. Well, as you fill your salsa up, your bottles, it actually gets kind of warm, and I've burned my hands in the past. And guess what? This is actually to hold your bottles. A lot of you are probably going, duh. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to fill the bottles. I've got it set on the floor. Throughout the day working, your back gets a little sore. I'm going to sit in a chair. I've got the salsa on the floor here. I'm going to fill them up. We've got towels laid out so we don't make a big mess. And Taylor Ray, she's going to wipe the tops of them off. And we want to make sure that the tops of the bottles are all clean. And then after we're done with that, we'll put the lids on. So we'll fill a few of them and then come back and we'll put some lids on. One other item about filling your bottles. I'm doing a big mix of the quart bottles and the pint bottles. And some good advice for you. If you're planning on doing a mix like that, don't fill all your little bottles first and then fill your big bottles last, because sometimes you'll have a little bit of extra salsa that could have fit into the little bottles. So fill your big bottles first. You want to fill them up to the bottom of your cap. Leave about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. That's to the bottom of the ring. Usually to the bottom of your little funnel here. And that should be plenty. Just give you a little bit of airspace. I love this thing now. Okay, so now that we've got our bottles filled here, we're going to put the lids on. I have the two different kinds of lids. So I have the lids for the jars I'm going to give away, and then of course I've got my reusable canning lids that I really like to use. Reusable canning lids, I think I told you about them last time, over and over and over. So these are reusable. Of course you probably don't want to give them away, but so I have both. I've got the ones for my bottles that I just bought, and then we've got a reusable one. So let me go over as far as putting these on if you've never done this before. So what I've done is I've put them in boiling water, cleaned them up, and then I take it, put the lid, center it over, tighten the ring down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it down and then I'll back it off 1/4 turn. Okay, so you don't want these lids tight when they go into the water bath, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the air to boil out. Not boil out, the air to get out of it. And you're not going to be able to do that with the tight lid on there. And then it'll spoil because you've got air trapped in the jar. So tighten it down, put the lid on, tighten it down, back it off, 1/4 turn. 1/4 inch, excuse me, 1/4 turn, 1/4 inch. So it's a 1/4 something, but just get it on. With the reusable canning lids, what we have here are two different components to this. And we have the ring, and we have the, of course my hands are clean, we have the ring, the gasket, and then the lid itself. Those are going to go on my bigger ones. Center it on there. We have our lid we use, and we tighten it as normal. Again, tighten it, back it off. Again, that's to get the air out. And the bottles are still hot, so be careful. So tighten it down, back it off. That's ready to go. So we're going to do the rest of these, get them all ready to go, and then we'll take it out. And okay, now we're ready to do our processing. And over here what we've got, I've got two different ways we're going to do this. We've got a water bath, and I also have a steam processor, specifically for canning jars. Tana, a friend of ours, loaned us one last year, and it was just wonderful. It worked. And you can see why here, because in the regular water bath, I can have the water level match the jars that I'm in here, whereas the steam bath here, we can have alternate ones without having to cover the entire thing. So follow the directions. So the directions are, we're going to process these for about 35 minutes. The steamer's going to take a little bit longer, but I'll guarantee you, if you ever get a steamer, you're going to love it. You can process these inside your home, whereas the water bath is a lot more messy. So we'll process these, get them up and going, boiling. Follow the directions that you have for the steamer. So the directions that come with your steamer, there are specific directions in there for altitude, how many minutes. Follow those directions. Water bath we're going to do for 35 minutes flat, and we'll get it started. So we'll come back. Okay, so we're done here with our last batch. Just processed all of these. And it is, of course, hot. So you want to be very careful when you're pulling everything out. Also, don't bounce it around, because there's a possibility it could shatter and break the bottles. We don't want that to happen. So I processed these already. We're going to take these out and set them evenly spaced between each other, just to let the air circulate around them. So we're going to let them cool down a bit, and we'll finish up the process. During the cool down period, you will hear them pop. And it's just basically, in fact, you probably hear that as I start pulling these out. But internally, they're still boiling, being processed. As they sit, the lids will get sucked down, and we'll start hearing some popping. That's not bad. It's actually a good thing. So,
My chickens.
anyway, what we'll do now is we'll just let these cool down. We've run out of chips, so we're going to go to the store and get some chips, and we'll try out our salsa. So here we are at the finished project. We're all eating what was left over, what we couldn't put in a bottle. Actually, we didn't want to put this in a bottle. We have to eat it now. So, enjoy your salsa. We know we will. And as much as we would like to give it away, we really don't want to give it away. It's kind of like the ant and the grasshopper. But if you have some to share, we'd be happy to maybe do a swap with you. So, make some salsa, have fun with it, and we'll see you next time. Give me a chip. Thanks, dude.